What's up, YouTube? FatKings Phil coming at you for my 10-year anniversary video, which is 3 months late to the day. I took specifically 3 months to the day to get this done, or at least released, rather. Just because I needed it'll all be clear when I tell you the whole tello. So I think I pretty much said everything I needed to say about the weight loss journey in my year 8 video, which is the last time I came to you. But let's go over the stats anyway. Day of surgery, first of all, I had my surgery in July 16, 2003. I had a high weight of 360. Day of surgery was 332. My lowest weight, technically I got down to 201 for like a hot minute, which terrified me. I was afraid I was gonna go under 200. And I really did have like a little mental problem with that. 215, 220 seemed to be 215 tended to be my official kind of low weight, although 220 was my goal, 225. And when I got back up to about 225 is when I felt actually like I looked okay. Like I thought at my lowest weight I looked like a bobblehead. Like I was just super, super lean, super skinny, no muscle. I felt a little bit emaciated, if you will, which I'm still 200 something pounds, right? So there would be a lot of editing in this, and a little more informal this time. Not that my videos are normally formal, but at least they're formatted because of just the nature of the last couple of years. So as of today, I weigh 245.6. I think as of the last video 2 years ago, I was 237. I'm going to call it within the margin of good. I'll tell you why as we go. I've continued to work out for those 2 years aggressively. I am doing things that I could not do 2 years ago as far as weights and reps and things like that. So I know I've put on a lot of bulk and muscle. Of course, you can't just put on muscle. You always put on some fat with muscle. So if you're eating enough to build muscle, you're technically eating enough to build fat, right? So trick is to keep those ratios good, which I've had mixed success on. So sorry, you're going to hear the dog running around too because she's in and out the back door. So that's kind of where the weight's at. And honestly, I am leaner now than I think I was when I came to you guys last. And that wouldn't have been the case had I made the video at the actual 10-year mark, but I'll explain. So works great. Been there for 15 years. It's almost easy at this point. I'm looking for new challenges at work all the time. It's just, I don't have to worry about the layoffs. I don't have to worry about it's insurance stability. It's not IT money, but IT work and the insurance stability is kind of a nice match. I'm getting to the point now where I've maximized how much vacation time I can actually accrue. So I'm actually gonna have to start taking trips, which plays nicely into my whole plan. Let's see. Both my kiddos graduated. My son graduated college and a couple years ago, and my daughter graduated high school a couple years ago early. She graduated early. So they both graduated, I'm going to say, in 21? Yeah, I think it's 21. And maybe even before I'd made that last video. My son ended up graduating as an engineer, mechanical engineer. He ended up working at a place called Baker Concrete in Denver for a year. He had his own apartment. He was doing great. It's so expensive up there that, he was never really happy and thriving up there. He liked the work, but, not, he didn't like the expenses of living up there and things like that. But, he continued on that and kept grinding. My daughter did a 6-month internship of sorts, we'll call it an internship, in Australia. It turned out not to be for her. She came back and ended up going back to work with my ex-girlfriend Emmy's ex-husband t-shirt company, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys remember Emmy and Mario, but for those of you who are new, you won't remember them. But she's been working there and helping them with that business and taking on more and more responsibilities and kind of deciding what she wants to do about school, if she wants to go, what does she want to go for. I told her, look, take your time to figure out what you really want to do. I'd rather not just throw money at something you're not, truly interested in. Like my son knew he wanted to be an engineer, so it was easy. Buck up, pay it, and go. So Sorry, coffee time. So that was good. And then, but at the same time, that left me at the point of like, okay, I have achieved my goal as a father and a man. Like I have provided and raised 2 healthy kids that didn't end up in jail or on the pole. Like they're thriving, they're doing well, they're very independent people, they're very, they have good character, good morals, no troubles. And I'm just kind of sitting in my house, that the townhouse I had built, the patio home I had built, by myself, me and the dog. So I wake up in the morning and thanks to COVID, this kind of became just my norm. But I roll downstairs, go to work in my daughter's old bedroom as my office, and then at the end of the day, roll back up, go to the gym, roll back home, and pretty much just spend the night doing something and rinse, repeat. And I didn't find that very fulfilling, obviously, from a long-term perspective. I'm like, okay, now what? What do I want to do? Now that I've provided and I've checked all the main boxes, it's not like I don't have responsibilities as a parent still, but like, what do I want to do for the rest of my time? Because let's face it, I just had a birthday. I turned 52, and I'm very aware that I've got 30, 35, 40 years on the long end left. What do I want to do with those? And I know that those years are not all equal, right? The years now, I can still do things. I'm very strong, so my body's in good shape. I'm healthy. I don't have any issues. I have minor little things like a little bit of plantar fasciitis in my right Achilles, and right now I've got a little bit of tennis elbow going on, but that's going to also play into the story later. I'm healthy. I can do stuff. I'm stronger than I've ever been. I want to travel. What am I going to do with my life? Like, what do I want to do? Is this it? Just this grind away in this house, making money, and then travel once in a while? But my existence is really this. So I kind of knew what I really wanted. And I had wanted it for a while, and there was some opportunity for it to kind of come up. And so I thought, well, I could work from anywhere. With limitations it turned out with my work. But my thinking was, now that we're in an online community, I could do what I do for any company, anywhere, and I could probably work overseas half the year. So every quarter, I'd be quarter overseas, quarter back, quarter overseas, quarter back. I just needed somebody to kind of like, keep an eye on the house and stuff like that. And then I realized the more I thought about it, that would be even better if I was paid off. If I had a house that had no mortgage, because I don't really need much, right? So at the same time, my son and I were talking about his goals and like, hey, I really want to like build something. And I said, yeah, me too. I want to build something at some point. Let's buy a piece of land and build something. So we started looking for land. Couldn't really find it. And then we started going another route, like, hey, let's do an industrial area, and then we'll just live in the industrial building for a while until we get caught or whatever, and pool our money to create build these kind of like almost like it's kind of like warehouse. I don't know how to explain this, but like it's residential living in like warehouse commercial buildings, because we saw already on the wall that a lot of commercial buildings were going to be empty soon. So what if we had this opportunity? We couldn't find anything that was cost effective. We couldn't find anything that was gonna get us ahead at all financially. So then we started looking for residential houses. And what if we just moved to another area where we have opportunities to not pay a mortgage, not have all these bills, combine our money, and save it up and then buy something and build. So we started looking around, and this was dovetailing very nicely into my plan to work abroad and back and abroad and back. Because then I'd have somebody there to watch the dog, watch the house when I wasn't there, and then when I was back, you'd have somebody there to help me get things done and what have you, and et cetera, et cetera. So, and this played nicely for him too, because he didn't have a rent, he didn't have all that stuff, so he'd have access to the whole place for pretty much free, sans splitting the utilities. So that's the path I started. I started trying to sell my house, and that's when things kind of took a turn. So I started trying to sell the house, and I delayed a few things in order to basically focus on that. And the market was very soft. I missed it I tried to sell it in October of last year, and a little bit before that, like late September. And I figured if I could get it sold before the holidays, I could just move and be done. Yeah, it would suck to move during the holidays, but whatever. That didn't happen. So we took it off the market in December. Just waited for spring to roll around, put it back on in March-ish, and then waited and waited and waited, and then the contract fell through, and then like it just was like not happening. In the background, my opportunity to work abroad and kind of pursue, something that I really had wanted and was really that I was really chasing after for a long time, and the idea that it could be a reality was slowly starting to bend under the pressure of things not happening. And then the idea, I think, of me being only able to be away parts of the year and then back also didn't really work out. Found out I couldn't work remote with my company. Other things just kind of came up, and that kind of got squashed. So, which left me I was pretty bummed out. And I was starting to really slip down into depression because things weren't moving forward. My house wasn't selling. I was like, nothing I'm trying to go after is working. And so I said, well, let me try and do something I can control. I'll focus on my weight. So I tried to really drop weight because I had popped up. My weight had popped up a little bit. And I didn't really like it, even though I knew I'd been working out. The number on the scale just bothered me so much, I tried to lose it. So I was like pretty much going back into starvation kind of mode, like really I was eating very, just out of surgery kind of mentality. A little bit more in the calories than that, but not much. And then I'd say 1,200 for a man is way low. I know out of surgery I was eating about 800, but I tried to cut it down to that and continue working out. And the number would move, so the house isn't selling, my weight's not moving, my personal life is, in flames, and just got more and more down, and I just was trying to not, that's about the lowest I've been since my dad passed away, and I knew it. I could tell the symptoms, so I was really working hard to, basically be aware of it, address it, accept it, realize why it was happening, and focus on the fact that it's not going to last forever, and to work my way through it. And then the bad blow came. Then something happened that and I won't go into details, but something happened that caught me so off guard, and something if you had told me that this thing would happen, I would have told you were crazy. I'd have gotten mad at you. I'd have told you were crazy, and I would have, really been very aggressive about it. And it happened, and it just gutted me, floored me. I was just floored, and that was like, well, this is obviously, this is bad. Maybe I'm not meant to move. Maybe I'm not meant to do all these things. I left the house on the market, but I just really wasn't, I just was kind of reactive. If I had a showing, great. If I didn't, I didn't. I kind of felt bad for my son because he was kind of like, do I renew my lease? Do I not renew my lease? What do I do? So we ended up having to move him to another apartment at one point while all this was going on, thinking it'd be a short-term thing. And it just was like, I felt like I was letting everybody down. I felt down. I felt weak and powerless to change anything. And I just felt so like, if you've ever had like depression, which I don't normally suffer from, but I've had it a couple times in my life where it's like, you just feel like you can only do 70% of your normal you, right? Maybe less if it's really bad for you. But for me, it's like, I feel like 70% of myself, I can barely do the things I need to do. I can fake my way through it, but it's tough. And then, especially with work, I couldn't let work go sideways. I had to focus 100% on work, but everything else kind of just, it got whatever was left. Then some other opportunities opened up, and I thought, oh, maybe this all happened for this reason. And I started kind of trying to focus on that, and I started going back to see my counselor. And when I saw probably had like 6 sessions with my counselor, and pretty quickly identified, the main way to kind of combat what was going on for me inside. And she was actually pretty shocked. She's like, because I was able to just pick right up where we left off before a couple of years ago, and she was like, oh yeah, no, you're doing great. You sure you still need these? 6 sessions in. I'm like, no, I'm actually feeling better. Right about that time, I said, just as I was about to say, okay, maybe this whole house thing wasn't meant to be. Jake can just move home to the townhome, and we'll figure it out from there. And then, boom, I got a contract. The second I kind of was about to give up, like on all things, right? I got a contract, and it was a buyer that was a investor. So they said, well, it's all contingent upon inspection. So I'm like, well, do your inspection. If you want to pay for inspection, that's on you. Feel free. So I didn't think, I thought, well, the inspection will probably pull up something I don't want to fix, and so don't get your hopes up. And then when I was, but I'm like, but you better go look. And my son and I had identified an area, and we had visited before. So we came out, we were taking another trip out here to kind of look around again. And the inventory was a lot lower out here. I'm like, oh crap, man, people are starting to catch on. This place is, affordable. And I got a call. I was there like, yep, here's the inspection report, and they only want these 2-3 things fixed, and they were super small, and like half of them I could do myself, and just have them re-inspect, which I did. And then the agent we were working with out here, I'll tell you, I'm not hiding it on purpose. I'm just trying to, keep a story going. So the agent we were working out here said, hey, this house came on the market yesterday, and they had a showing last night that was very interested. Do you guys want to see it? I said, yeah, that's perfect for us. It was a 4-bedroom, 3-car garage, built 2010. So it was a little older than I was hoping, but that's not that old. So we went and looked at it, and we're like, other than the carpets being trashed, I mean, they were just original carpets, and it needing some TLC here and there, I'm like, this place is perfect. And my son and I were like, yeah, this is it. So we offered full pop with the contingents that they leave the refrigerator, because I had to leave my refrigerator at the old house. And I didn't, and they were expecting somebody to beat them up about the carpets. And I said, don't even worry about the carpets, I'll take care of that. So I ended up buying in Oklahoma. So why Oklahoma, you say? Why would you ever go to Oklahoma? Nobody thinks about that. So I looked everywhere. We looked Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, way too expensive for what we were looking to do. And not near an airport, not near a city where my son could work. So we started looking at big cities, right outside a certain radius of big cities where you could at least get to the airport. You could get to the city if you needed to work. But that's certainly not a problem for me. I can work anywhere for my company inside the United States, sans California or New York, which we won't get into. But yeah, long story short, we realized that Oklahoma City actually has some of the best income to housing ratios, and has a lot of the market indicators that looked like, say, Austin did about 15, 20 years ago. And so we're like, interesting. So we found this place that's on the outskirts. It's pretty remote in the sense of like, there's not a lot around here, stores and stuff like that. You really have to drive to the next town over. But it's only 15, 20 minutes from the airport. It's only 15, 20 minutes to downtown. It's only about 15, 20 minutes to the next city. So it's kind of like close enough to things, but far enough away to still kind of meet our needs. And so we moved here. So I have spent the last, I moved here August 21st. We drove here August 21st. I'd left my house the week before. Actually, I have a video of the whole moving out that I should put up for you guys. You just might get a kick out of it. But maybe I'll put that up too. And then, so we ended up driving out here, my son and I, with my stuff. He flew back because he still had to work and he still had to keep going for the rest of that month. But I was here from August 21 by myself until 2 weeks ago, and just been grinding on this place. Like, I had the floors replaced, which I was going to do myself, but I needed them done fast because I just needed my bed. I needed a bed. I needed a function. I was still trying to work here. I was working off a hotspot. I got fiber internet pulled to the house, but it took a while. It was a little bit of a grind, and there was no way I was going to have time to make videos or upload stuff, or even like, for those of you that know me, you know me, I am like project to project to project to project to project, and there were projects aplenty. Like, I would basically get up, go to work here in the kitchen. I'd sit at this table because this lease was on the tile. There was floor here, and I could use my laptop using my hotspot on my phone to work. And then as soon as I was done, I'd log off and start working on a project, whether that was repainting walls, fixing switches, reordering switches, which is another story, fixing lights, upgrading bulbs. Like, I was over at Home Depot pretty much every day getting stuff, and I was just grinding. Well, in that process, I dropped a ton of weight, probably a lot of muscle, but I dropped probably 10, 15, I think about 10, 12 pounds actually. And then, which I was not crying about. It was pretty nice. I was closer to 240 than I'd been in a long time. And I was like, great, this is awesome. Like I'm back under my, like danger zone number. I'm feeling better about myself. I'm feeling productive. And I'm working towards something. But I had to move everything myself. I was by myself. So if the gun safe needed to be moved over to the corner, I had to figure out how to roll it across carefully because I'm here by myself, and if I get hurt, there's nobody here to save me, right? So I'd like use dowels and shims and levers, and I got it all done. And I got this wired up and that wired up and this repainted and that organized, and eventually everything kind of came together. But I think really I just and then before I cut to the just part, a couple weeks ago I flew back out to my son to move him out here. So he had finished his tour of duty with his company, given his notice, and then and they were starting to like have all kinds of problems where they weren't getting new jobs, and they're like one of the biggest concrete companies in the country. So the commercial money's drying up just like we said it would, and so commercial buildings are drying up. They're not building new ones. So we ended up packing up his car. I got there at 8 o'clock in the morning in Denver. We went and got the U-Haul truck and the trailer. We loaded the truck, put his car on the trailer, and cleaned the place. And by 1:30, we're back on the road to here. So I got up here about 4 in the morning, and I was back here at 2 in the morning the next day. Not recommended, kids. It's about a 10-hour drive. With that big truck, it's a little longer. But so then we proceeded to have another week and a half of just unloading and putting things together and setting up his computer and painting and I'd done some preliminary work for him before he got here, but he wanted to make it his way, and so we're rewiring outlets, and we're changing switch plates out, and we're painting walls, and we're setting up computers, and we're running wires, and we're cable managing. And then I ordered all my office equipment, office furniture, because I didn't have office furniture in my office yet, and ended up that all got here, mostly IKEA stuff, and I spent a good week just kind of putting that all together, spacing it all out, treating the wood, getting everything ready, and then putting all my computer and stuff together, and then putting up my bookcases. But just all the stuff. Like I just have not had a break. This is really the first weekend I've had a break. And since August 21, I've taken 2 Saturdays off. So yeah, that's we're here. I really like the house. It's got some things that needs to be upgraded still, and some things to do, but these are projects for us to work on together. And then we're going to build an ADU in the backyard. It's got a huge backyard. We're going to build an ADU out there eventually to teach ourselves building skills and wiring, and run most of that off of solar. I've been kind of dabbling in solar. I kind of like solar. It's kind of fun. Eventually I'll put solar on the house. I'll put batteries on the house to supplement that. We get a lot of sun. I've got the perfect facing, the backyard faces south, so I get sun all day back there. So I should be able to produce a good amount of power to supplement the grid power, if not completely replace it eventually. But because I now have no mortgage and we're splitting costs between 2 big boy adults, with the big boy adult incomes, we're really hoping to be able to move the bar a long way in that regard. And I really have kind of decided that my purpose, now that these other doors have closed, and which still leaves me very melancholy and really, like yesterday just really hit me. It was like, wow, it really still hurts, but I know that my focus is to build a legacy for my kids, and and to learn all these skills and pass those on to hopefully grandkids at some point, and to make the most of the time I've got left, and to stay as healthy and as fit and as in shape as I can be. I'm really keeping myself my priority as far as the physical, mental, and health, and the health stuff. So that's kind of it. If I would love to be doing this journey with a partner, and have had somebody to kind of be a part of the mission. So if I, down the line meet somebody, great. If I don't, I don't. It's fine. That might not have been my fate. I've had, I have great relationships with all my exes, for the most part, sans one or two. And, and, like even my ex-wife, our great friends. We're still family in a lot of ways. And, she's in a new relationship and kind of moving her life forward too. So I'm very happy for her. Yeah, I just feel like this is a new phase and it's a new thing to do, and whatever comes along comes along, but I'm not chasing anything anymore. All I'm going after is like, hey, here's the skills I want to learn. Here's the things I want to do. Stuff that my son wants to do as well. Great. If it's something he doesn't want to do, I'll do myself, and then, we'll do other stuff together. That's fine. But yeah, trying to make the most of it. And so one thing I do want to acknowledge though, I remember 10-year mark being like this holy grail of like, oh my gosh, people who made it 10 years and they're still healthy and doing well. I mean, I used to think about Tanya all the time. Like the fact that she had made it 10 years, I'm like, oh my gosh, and I knew you have to work hard to keep it that long. I was reading a statistic, I think I don't have the numbers exactly right, but I think 76% of weight loss surgery patients have had significant weight gain by year 7, I think it is. Year 7, year 8? I think it's year 7. And, I didn't, and a lot of us haven't. And then some of us have, and then got it back off. And, and then there's other folks I know that, these are not people you guys necessarily know per se, but I know some other people that I turned on to weight loss surgery, and they did great, and then they lost it all back. They regained it all back, I should say. But I would be, and I feel bad. I mean, I really feel for them, because if that happened to me, I would be so inconsolable. I don't even know what I would do. I think I would be so defeated that I would just kind of give up on everything. And I think that's why I'm so militant about trying to stay on top of things, because I am terrified that if it did happen to me, I would not handle it well. So, I've seen a lot of people fight I've seen a lot of people fight their way all the way back too. So, they're good for them. But man, this has changed my life completely. From the trajectory it was on, and put me on paths and put people in my path that I never would have met, and I got experiences I never would have had. And yeah, I'm sad. I miss a lot of those people, and I miss a lot of those experiences, and I wish that it was still like I was, kind of like back in the day. I kind of wish we all still were tight and together and stuff, but everybody's doing their thing, and COVID kind of started that, and kind of split us all up in a lot of weird ways. And yeah, I'll heal from the other thing over time, and all things for a reason, I guess. But yeah, that was a tough bullet. So anyway, how's that for vague booking? All right, guys, so that's it. Long video, I know. If you stuck around, you're a sadist. I am not that interesting. I always think about that when I go to make a video. Who cares what I'm doing? Who cares what I'm doing? But then again, I think, I kind of like seeing people's videos when I haven't seen them in a while. So, it just feels kind of like arrogant to do it now, but whatever. So that's it. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. I hope you're having lots of success and good times and experiences. And I'm definitely going to be trying to travel a lot more next year. And I'm going to have a lot more disposable income and time. That's kind of my goal. Now, obviously I'm saving for specific, projects and things, but part of only having so many years left is getting the experiences in. So I don't want to forego those. So I will be actually taking my first trip at the end of November, so I'm excited about that. I haven't done that in a while, so it'll be a nice little getaway. All right, guys. Well, until next time, whenever the hell that is, remember, it's good to be the king.